All right, well, welcome to another episode of Baseball and Coffee. Today is Monday, July 7th, 2025. It is 9:44 a.m. And got a little rain as I look outside my window after a beautiful July 4th weekend. Yesterday was an exceptional day of baseball, unbelievable pitching everywhere. A lot of big rubber games, some big statements made. Cubs kicking ass, taking names in the Sunday night game versus the Cards. Yankees getting that third game of that series versus the Mets that they desperately needed. Schoolboy was out there. Wow, just swallowed something. Schoolboy was out there. A lot of just studs were out there. Chase Burns got back out there. It was a day for a lot of pitchers. But today, we only are going to talk about one pitcher, who I'm not going to reveal quite yet, as we need to go through our order of operations. And the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the show. Basically, the idea behind this show is we're going to get a little more context of something that caught my eye in Major League Baseball the night before. Sometimes we'll dive into one topic or two topics in a given day. This show's not about highlights, it's not about storylines, it's about watching the videos of the games themselves and kind of absorbing a little bit of the combination of that eye test with the data. Use my 15 years of Major League experience to kind of break some things down, kind of show you the way that I'm watching the game. And we're just going to get educated a little bit. We like to watch the best, the people that are doing well. We're going to celebrate a little bit of baseball excellence, as I like to say on the show. And that's kind of the plan. That's kind of the idea. I'm going to stream here as much as I can on Adam Ottavino 0 YouTube channel and on Fridays over at MLB. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to interacting with anybody who's going to watch the show and get in the chat and help me kind of steer this ship. People tell me things that they want to see, things they want to check out. I have the iPad provided by MLB. Big shout out to them for being so gracious and allowing me and trusting me with the responsibility of disseminating some of this information. And I call this iPad basically mission control. I have the ability to drop in on any game, any pitch, get all the metrics, get all the angles. I don't have slow-mos, I don't have a lot of the replay cams, but that's okay because we're keeping it raw here and we're going to check out things and we're going to make our own judgments. We're not going to listen to the announcers. We're not going to listen to the pundits. We're just going to make our own judgments. Sometimes they're fair, sometimes they're not, and just try to have a little fun enjoying the great game of baseball the way that I always have every morning of my life, whether it was through a newspaper or through checking highlights and now through having mission control and doing this show. So I'm going to take a quick sip of my hydration drink right here. We're going to introduce today's coffee. Still the same coffee because this coffee is amazing. It's the Chocolate Bomb coffee beans from Sacred Grounds Coffee Roasters in Sherman, Connecticut. Highly recommend these beans. They taste amazing. It's a nice boost in the morning. I feel great. And today we're rocking our Lumen mug. Because yes, the work is mysterious, but also important. And they don't need to know what that means. So anyway, we are going to get into today's topic. We're only doing one topic today. And that is the return of Mr. Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff. Now, this guy's somebody who's always had my respect over the years. I considered him the ace of the Brewers for most of the last several years. Obviously, there was Corbin Burns there, but they were a really, really dynamic duo. The combination of Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff out of Mississippi State. I've heard nothing but great things about this guy. I played with some of his old teammates from college, Hunter Renfroe, Jonathan Holder. Everybody says Woodruff's an absolute dog out there. People who had been with him at the Brewers always sung his praises as well. And, I don't want to let this day go unnoticed. I have some notes here on exactly what I'm talking about, but let's see here, just how long our guy was out. Yes, Big Woo, as they call him, Mr. Woodruff, he hadn't pitched in 683 days in the big leagues. And just to keep that into perspective, that's like 2 years. It's not quite 2 years, but it's like 2 years. And when I had my Tommy John, I'd say I was out for almost 400 days. And it's just weird, you know, you're a professional pitcher, you're used to being out there, especially a good player. Like, you're used to kind of getting that little reward every week for a good job well done. You're pulling on the rope with your guys. You're used to being in the battle, and then all of a sudden you get an injury, and it's a really bad injury like he had. I believe they had to repair some stuff in his shoulder, which is always a little more tricky than the elbow. He was headed into his free agent year. There was a lot of things that were sketchy dealing with this, but he did finally make his return. He had a little bit of a crazy bumpy ride on his rehab assignment as well. He ended up signing a 2-year, $17.5 million deal with Milwaukee in February 2024. So basically that was a rehab year, and then come back and pitch this year. Yeah, it was right shoulder surgery. And his last start was actually in Lone Depot Park, which is where his comeback took place. So this is actually kind of similar to something that happened to me in my career. I blew out my elbow in the early part of 2015, April of 2015, during an appearance versus the Giants in San Francisco. I kind of felt it give out, kept pitching. If you go check the game logs, you can see I pitched a few more times, but the damage was done on a breaking ball that I threw to Brandon Belt in like a 2-1 count in the ninth inning of a game in San Francisco. And sure enough, 14 months later, when I came back in July of the next year and I made my return, the game was also in San Francisco. So it was very emotional, kind of returning to the same mound where you had last pitched. And I'm sure that Brandon felt a lot of that yesterday. It's a big deal. It's something that'll always stand out in your mind when you do make that comeback, because there's got to be times in your rehab that you just don't know, you're not sure, you're getting frustrated with the process, and it feels like you might not ever be yourself again. And it's tough. This game is fleeting. It's a short career. Even if you have a long career, it feels short. It goes fast. So when you're on the shelf for a year, 2 years in this case, really takes a lot of fortitude, and it teaches you patience, and you have to find a way to still be a good teammate, and a lot of things. It tests you in a lot of ways. So Big Woo is back. Let's take a quick peek at who he was, stuff-wise and everything before the injury. So 2023 is the last time we saw this guy pitch, and he was dominant. If you go look at his 2023 numbers, he had 11 starts with a 2.28, striking out more than a batter inning and a sub-1 whip. So he was shoving. He's doing it mostly with a four-seam, coming in around 95.8, a sinker, 94.9, and a changeup at 85.8. So it's two fastballs paired with a changeup. Excellent command. He's never walked too many guys. His walk rate's always been excellent. If I go to his baseball reference right here, we can illustrate that. Yes, in the walk column, for his career, 2.3 walks per nine, 10.4 Ks per nine, only 7 hits per nine. And at the beginning, he gave up some more hits, but then I think over the years, he's kind of figured out who he is and what his style is going to be, and how he's going to get the contact that he wants to get those outs that aren't strikeouts. So anyway, it's been a long layoff. He also threw, if you go back in time here, he also threw a slider and a curveball. And I wanted to check the movements on these a little bit because he might have made some changes, and I'd love to be able to point those out. Yeah, 2023, he was throwing a curveball that was like -7, -7, and he was throwing a slider that was 3 and -2. And then yesterday, he debuted a sweeper instead of the slider that's only 3.6 vertical break, but 11.4 inches of horizontal break. So he picked up about 6 inches more movement side to side with this sweeper change. I think it's interesting that he went to the sweeper while he's been hurt. That's something he's been working on. And then he did throw a curveball. This curveball has... a cutter. Cutter's new. The cutter's new. 14 vert, 3.5 gloves. So that's a very hoppy cutter. I know the Brewers lead all organizations in cutter usage this year at the big league level. So that's something to look out for as we go head into his game. Let's dive into his bio just for a second. Make sure we know what we're talking about. He was originally drafted 5th round by the Rangers in 2011 out of Wheeler, Mississippi. Ends up going to Mississippi State, becomes an 11th round pick of the Brewers. He is 32 years old, so he's still in his prime. But this is going to be definitely the second half of his career. He's already accumulated 17.7 WAR and a 47-26 record in 686 innings. So we're hoping that he can stay healthy, keep that IL time in the past, and press forward. But I think the fun thing to do is to head over to his game and let's just watch the kid pitch. This was a big day for him, and you know, it's always a great feeling for me to see somebody come back to play. And let's just watch him. Let's just watch him pitch. He had a nice outing yesterday. 78 pitches. I think we're just going to watch the whole game.
Right here in Miami in his
first pitch back is only 91-1, so velocity definitely up. 93-2 here on the second pitch. As you can see, it's a very cutty four-seam. That's 20.6 vert, but right around 0 line in terms of horizontal break. Goes right to the top of the zone, so 3 fastballs in a row to Xavier Edwards here. Comes the first off-speed pitch. There's a curveball. Then he goes back up with the four-seam, this time beating him. So first batter back. And first punchy. That's a perfectly located fastball. Right above the zone. Can't quite get there. Had to honor it because he hit the top of the zone earlier. Jesus Sanchez. Ball's well struck, but he's under it just a tad. Hit it hard, but 38 degrees just too high. Miami, as we know, the ball doesn't really fly there either, so that's a 1 pitch out. Beautiful.
He introduced himself to me. I didn't know him, but he's from Detroit.
Little fastball for a strike.
He had a chance to play for his hometown team. Good man.
Sounds very much similar to the
for a
conversation
ball.
you had years ago with John.
Now, Woodruff, one of the highlights of his game, going back to all the time that we've seen him pitch in the big leagues, is excellent command side to side. He likes to have the catcher set up middle early, but he's very good at going in and out, as you see him paint Otto Lopez in right here with the four-seam. The nature of the shape of this pitch makes him think that this pitch is probably going to continue to run in, but it kind of holds its line and stays on the zone. Even though this isn't a fast pitch, this is a very good metric. 93.4, but 21.6 vert, meaning it really is going to stay flat. It's not going to dip at all. It's going to have the appearance of rising to the hitter more than an average fastball. But also only 0.8 inches of horizontal break means it's not running in the typical way that a fastball runs, kind of back, down, and in, kind of a lazy little droop in towards the barrel. This ball's going to kind of stay and hold pinned straight like a laser, and it's going to appear to the hitter actually like a right-handed hitter, like it goes away from him a little bit, and a left-handed hitter like it's boring in on him just a touch. So that's what happens here. He thinks this ball is going to be inside, but it ends up kind of boring away from him just a bit and holds the edge for a looking strike 3. And I mean, that's a beautiful first inning for the bearded Woodruff. Big woo. All right, second inning. First sinker of the game. It's absolute paint, backdoor. I mean, a very hoppy sinker, but it's got way more run than the four-seam, so that's a good pitch. Sinker-cutter combo gets him the 0-2. Here's the first sweeper. And it's a punchy. So he traded in like a harder slider for a little bit of a bigger breaking slider in the sweeper this go-around, it looks like, but so far the execution is fantastic.
All the way until it got into the hitting zone, and then it just disappeared.
Selection of this 26-man roster, and you could remove all the pitchers, obviously, for the most part. As Stowers lifts one in the
Get Stowers out front on a changeup here with a perfectly located changeup. I always say if you're not going to have a super nasty diving changeup or split, it's really all about location. And look where he locates this ball. Dotted in the down and away corner. Not a lot anybody's going to be able to do it that. At best, you punch it the other way for a hit, but most guys are going to pull off that ball And it's going to be a nice easy fly out like Stowers just did.
Burns.
Here's Eric Wagaman, who's 1 for 6 in the series. He was 1 for 3.
Going right at him, 4-seam middle. Now he's going to go in.
Wagaman to center.
Gets off the barrel just enough. Little lazy fly out. So there's the 4-seam sinker combo. And he's perfect through 2.
Be back, and this Marlin team is really playing good.
And you get to hang
There
out
you go,
with your
sinker.
old buddy from
Bottom of the zone. Nice catch. Relieved by Contreras. Now we're going to go 4-seam top of the zone. And that's a pretty good swing by Hernandez. There's the first hit. Hi Roberto Hernandez. Never seen him play. Now we have. All right, Connor Norby. One of the trade pieces from the Orioles.
Well, we just enjoyed it. We loved it. We had a beautiful home there, and it was nice. Like you say, it was a different stadium. Pro player.
Little 2-0. Little 2-0 sinker coming.
Long time. You've managed some of the best players to ever play this game.
It's a good pitch.
And I think it's great when the cameras are on the 24th or 25th player that gets a base hit to win a game now and then, or makes a really good
Kind of
play.
hooks the 4-seam.
Oh, that's a really good play by Durbin at third.
Nice play by the third baseman. Watch this ball. Kind of picks it, sets his feet. Doesn't even set his feet, but gets it there. It's a really nice play. And then Dane Myers.
#1 your speech, by the way.
Let's see Woo's feet on the pickoff here if they'll show us.
I thought that was amazing.
Well, they don't show us. It's okay.
Never were a game under 500 at any
First
point
pitch cutter.
But when did you believe that year? I think I got a good.
I mean, it's a very hoppy cutter. It's a nice cutter shape. Almost 90 miles an hour. 13.8 vert, meaning it's not like a slider. It's going to stay up as it cuts. And negative 2.1. It's just a different variation off the fastball. A lot of guys are probably going to swing under this pitch. Anyway, he gets ahead right there. Doubles up on the cutter. Paint down and away.
Just a tremendous general manager.
Ooh.
Not afraid.
That is by far his hardest pitch of the day so far. 95-7 sinker off the 2 cutters. And as you can imagine, the first 2 pitches ran away. And this pitch bores up and in on the hitter. And just kind of handcuffs him, and he can't get any wood to it.
Afraid. He's not afraid to
Yeah,
make
that
a
was
trade.
by him. I mean, you can see he just can't pull his hands in. He's like, oh no. That's called up and in sinker doors. Doors. All right, so nice punch there. We're back to the top of the order.
Championship back home to that organization as Xavier Edwards ropes one.
Cutter in.
Kids are really
That's the
excited.
foul.
You know,
There's going to be a
looks
pickoff.
to me like he's taking advantage of it.
Comes the changeup. Excellent combo there. Cutter to changeup. 2 opposite movements in a similar speed band.
Major league managers now, they have, a co-pilot.
Goes for the paint. Just misses. Good attempt. 94-3. So his velo's picked up here towards the end of the third. There's another one.
But during the game,
Oof.
you have to be concentrated.
Very close to getting the strikeout there.
A bunch of people talking in your ear. I mean, in other words, you can't say, well, this guy's going to go 3 and then this guy's going to go 2. Well, that's fine.
Kept them on
But if
fastball
something
timing.
happens
Back to
where
the
they get beat up a
changeup.
little bit, you gotta take that
Edwards
time.
rolls it over. And we'll head to the 4th. Jesus Sanchez. Swung at the first pitch last time. Looks like he was in auto take mode this time. Kind of gets balled there on a misfire of a cutter, but it was in the zone.
A true legend of the game, Rod, that has impacted
Beautiful
so many
changeup.
so many.
Looks like Sanchez was content to take a strike this at bat. There's the Sanchez I know. Big hag on the 1-1. Comes up empty on a perfectly located changeup below the zone. Literally perfect.
Speaks to the kind of man that he is.
Oh, and then backdoor paint fastball.
Has come off the injured list.
So he throws him 2 pitches in a row, both changeups that are running away from him, right? Okay, let's recap.
Just an awesome human being.
Changeup here with 14 inches going away.
Of the game, Rod, that has impacted me.
Changeup here with 11 inches going away. Perfect. So he's throwing him back-to-back pitches that start to run away from the hitter, and then he throws in this fastball that essentially looks like it's running back to the plate. So this ball starts on the black, ends on the black. Sanchez, based off the movement of the previous pitches, definitely thinks this pitch is going to be a ball away, but it's absolutely dotted by Big Woo right here. And a really nice catch. And that's just paint. That's just an ice cream paint job, sir. All right, Otto
Back
Lopez.
in the strike zone to get the call.
Little cutter away. So Woodruff's been filling it up. Umpire's starting to give him a little bit more than the textbook strike zone. Now Lopez has to fire on the sweep. Automatically 0-2. He's going to go for the four-seam doors. Perfect pitch. Emergency hack foul ball.
What has impressed me is the command today. He's had great command.
Change up. Hits it off the cap. And a very nice play by the shortstop. I want to see the swing here because he hits this ball off the cap. He literally hit it off the cup, and that's why it's only 58.3 miles an hour.
Very good bullpen.
You can see this ball kind of squirts out weird, like he hits it like a pool cue.
Weakly hit ground ball up the middle. Monasterio's got it.
Very nice play. And then he's going to finish with this Augustin Ramirez at bat in the fourth. Getting ahead. He's been getting ahead all day. That's what good pitchers do. Now immediately sinker in. Wow, gets the call off the plate.
Ron Copa has given him.
Cutter away.
Marlins have just one hit. That was the Heriberto Hernandez.
Very good execution, but a pretty good take. So now the backdoor sinker off that window. Paint. All right. This at-bat makes me chuckle and makes me smile because a lot of people are going to overreact to Woodruff's velocity not being what it was before. But when you can execute like this, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to swing in this sequence. So let's look at it real quick. So he starts him with the slow breaking ball to sweeper. And he kind of misfires and it's up and in. So that ball is going to kind of pop. Let me get out the pen here. That ball is going to kind of pop a little bit, like on the inside part, and kind of break to the corner, right? So that's the first pitch. And then the second pitch, he's going to go in with the sinker. So this pitch started like kind of middle in, ends obviously off a little bit, but so far everything's kind of been in, and the sweeper had to pop at the hitter to be a strike. So that's what he's established so far, is kind of off the plate in coming into a strike and on the plate going in for a ball. So he's playing with a little X mode on the arm side part of the strike zone to this point. Now we go to the third pitch. He tries to go away and basically get him to swing at a bad pitch. It's a really good pitch. This ball starts on the corner, ends up going off the corner, and it's a good take by Augustin Ramirez. He actually takes it very comfortably. And as a pitcher, when you have a comeback sinker in your back pocket and you see a guy take a breaking ball off the plate away, you see a righty take a breaking ball off the plate away very comfortably, that tells me that he's shutting it down. He's refusing to swing on anything that starts over this outside corner. He just figures if it starts away, it's going to run away. So the antidote to that, and what Woodruff does here and gets the freeze, is he's going to start a sinker off the plate and run it back to the corner. Watch this. And that's just beautiful pitching. Nothing Augustin Ramirez can do in this situation. He's already made up his mind. If it's away, I'm letting it go. This ball starts even more away. It starts completely off the plate, as you can see, before shooting back to the zone. So he's thinking this is another easy take. And then by the time he realizes this ball's going to be on the plate, it's far too late to swing. This is just excellent execution. And this is why velocity is not everything. This is just perfect execution. And there's nothing you can do as a hitter. Boom, strike three. And he's through 4. All right, we're going to check up on the 5th in 1 minute. My wife's just sending me a picture of my son at camp. He's looking cute. All right. 5th inning, Kyle Stowers, the All-Star, the freshly minted All-Star. They try to go cutter in. They got him to pop up a changeup last time. Cutter in. They're going to go right to the changeup now. Stowers still out in front. Interesting that they go to the 4-seam now. 4-seam in, jams him. So that second changeup there, because he flew out on a changeup his first at-bat, and then the second one he's super out in front. I think the catcher and Woodruff are thinking here that he's now a little bit slowed down, so it's a good time to go up to get our fly out, and if you miss in, that's good, and he kind of misses in and jams the piss out of Stowers. This ball's only hit 60 miles an hour, so Beautiful way to start the 5th. And now he's got Wagaman, who he got out with a 4-seam sinker combo the first time.
And I heard him say it.
Backdoor sinker. Paint for strike 1.
That's amazing.
His command has been excellent in this start.
All year long. He could have sent him
Sweeper down, gets the trigger, but it's a little too low, so no swing.
so many of them.
Oh, I can imagine.
Tries the cutter, pulls it a little bit. 2-1 count. See where he goes here. Tries to go 4-seam away, kind of overcooks it. So 3 misfires, probably his first misfires in a while. This pitch was pretty hittable. It's the same. It's the exact same shape of the only strike he's thrown in this at bat thus far. And this pitch ends up middle up, which is not the best spot for a sinker. But as you can see, it runs just enough where even if he hits this, it wouldn't be on the barrel. He would have got in on him just a bit, and he's a tick under it. So let's see what he chooses on 3-2. He's gonna go back to the sinker again. Backdoor sinker attempt again. And he throws a beautiful one. Absolute paint. Kind of has to dig it out of the catcher's mitt with this swing. He's super late. All he can do is kind of grind it towards that 4 hole, but they don't have the second baseman pinched up the middle. And it's an easy out. All right, here's the first run here. Definitely being aggressive. This is the guy who got the hit the last time on the 4-seam up, so they're gonna go sinker.
That's awesome.
0-2. Okay, sinker, and now sweeper. This has got to be a mistake.
He never left. He's got 6 strikeouts. And there's a
Yeah, it just doesn't get to the spot. 0-2 pitch, reaches out, barrels it right down the line. 133, but right down the line.
That's his 3rd homer.
I actually think this was a really good pitch choice. I think if this pitch is off the plate at all, I think it's a chase and a swing and miss. But it just doesn't get there. It's not a great swing. I mean, he's diving, he's a little bit gone, but he's able to get the barrel to it. I mean, that's not your typical home run swing. He didn't have a lot of leverage through this ball. As you can see, the back foot's off the ground for a moment there. And he just kind of hooks it. I think this is one of those ones as a pitcher. It's a solo shot. Pretty easy to just move on here. You've been rolling. I know it's frustrating to get clipped on an 0-2 pitch. But that's a pretty easy adjustment for Big Woo. His command's been there, so you just kind of take this with a grain of salt and keep moving. All right, 2 outs. Still a 2-1 lead. Backdoor sinker. He's got that pitch dialed in. And you can see a little bit of an anger here. 95 on that sinker, 94 on this next sinker. Absolutely dotted, so he dots 2 pitches back to back. This pitch, you can't throw a better pitch than this. Watch this. Oh. And then he's gonna triple up on the sinker backdoor. I mean, good take by Norby, I guess, but this pitch is so close to being a 3-pitch punch. Oof. Oh, and now he's gonna go 4-seam. I love this call here. Yeah. No way you're hitting that. No way. You've seen sinker shape 3 in a row, and now you're getting a 19.1 4-seam shape, so a much more hoppy ride ball, and this ball is also located at top of the zone. This ball must have felt like it rose a foot on the way to the plate. This is an unfair pitch and a great choice for Woodruff, and this is why I don't really care about his velocity. His execution is so good, and he knows how to pair his pitches so well. He's dialed. He's absolutely dialed. It's crazy to be this dialed after 600 days off. Look at this pitch again. Doors. That's just an outstanding job. And so he's going to go out for the 6th. See if he locks in that backdoor paint again. Oh my gosh. Those are dotted. Little cutter off that. Didn't quite start out of the same line. Another backdoor sinker. This pitch is locked in, and now he's going to go up top again with the 4. Yep. So you can see how he's punched these last few righties. He just plays with their mind a little bit. He shows them that sinker, that cutter shape, pitches that aren't as lifty, and then he throws them the freaking uphill express here with 2 strikes, and they're just overwhelmed by the velocity. Bayou. This guy's gotten absolutely torched twice. Yeah, that's tough. That's not fair. That's really good pitching, though. Really smart. All right, 3rd time through. Edwards. Just 4-seam over him. Just straight beats him. He's Going to do it again. Try to get it up a little higher.
Strikeouts in his return. Dane
All
Myers
right, just pulls off just a tad.
And to relax a little bit and get you back on track.
Cutter in. This is a good pitch, almost a bad pitch. He's able to drop head on that. That's a home run type bat path. But as you can see, this pitch just stays in enough, stays up enough where he skims through it. But it's a really nice foul ball to get, so I think he's going to go change up. Yep. Sure enough. When you get a guy pulling the hands in that hard, you got to go change up next pitch. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful located pitch. The legs are gone. All Edwards can do is kind of slap it. Let's see the effort on the swing. Yeah, that's all he can do is just kind of throw the hands and not strike out. That was a nice sequence there, too. All right, Jesus Sanchez, my fellow Toro del Este. Got to take advantage of his aggression. First pitch, absolute parachute changeup. This is disgusting. Off of 94, it's a 10-mile-an-hour difference. Just parachutes. He's going to go double up.
0-1 to Sanchez.
This time it's a pretty good take by Sanchez.
Milwaukee leading the rubber match 2-1.
Force him away.
Later into this one today. That is Rick to right.
All right, so this wasn't a good pitch. He kind of pulled this one down the middle, and it's a nice swing by Jesus. 106 at 15, but right at the fielder. And that's it for Big Woo. He ends up going 6 innings, 1 run. Had a really, really good line. It could not have gone much better for him yesterday. It really couldn't have gone much better for him yesterday. I think he might have made the top performers, right? No, that's how good the pitching was yesterday. But 6 innings, 1 run. Let's find the box score real quick. Yeah, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts. What are our takeaways from this outing from Woodruff? Well, number one, yes, the velocity was down, but I don't think it's a concern at all. Obviously, it's something to monitor going forward. More velo will give you more margin for error, certainly. But as we saw, he was painting. He had the glove side sinker down. He was using the arm side sinker. He's using 4-seam on both sides, 4-seam at the top of the zone very well. Every time he threw a changeup, it was bottom of the zone to bottom of the zone arm side. He threw some cutters, glove side to lefties. Most of them were either perfect or they're in the good miss category, meaning they go in. Like I'll show you, he threw a nice first pitch cutter to maybe Edwards here and gets a foul ball. Let's see. Yeah, like we got to go center field cam, I guess. But even on this one, it's either perfect or it's in. This pitch is a little bit lower. Like if this pitch is in this area, this is the danger zone. But he does a really good job of keeping it in this area right here. Not a lot going to happen there. Hitter can't extend their hands. So I think cutter's a nice add. You know, the cutter and the sweeper are going to be a good tunnel together. And let me just pick a righty hitter in the box so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. All right, so forget all these pitches. Like, this stuff doesn't matter. If we're throwing a cutter, the cutter's going to have a little bit of a baby movement. Like, it could start here and kind of go to the corner, start here, kind of go to the corner, start here, kind of go to the corner. But when you go to sweeper movement, hold on, I'm going to switch the sweeper movement to yellow. When you go to sweeper movement, if it starts down, it ends further over. It starts, it ends further over. It starts, it ends further over. So the hitter sees 2 pitches that both start heading away from them. One's a little harder than the other, but they also have different amount of break. And it's very hard to differentiate those things in the first 30, 40 feet out of the hand, which is when you kind of have to make a swing decision. So a lot of times, if you get a guy to fire at a cutter, you'll take your chances with the sweeper next pitch, seeing if he'll fire at another pitch moving that direction, but ultimately a harder pitch to hit. You want him to be aggressive. And then as soon as you see him not swing, that's when we'll call this blue the 2-seam fastball. And as soon as you see him not swing, then you can start something over here and run it back towards the plate. So that's what he does with those sinkers. So he's kind of playing the cutter, sweeper, and sinker overlay game. And then if he can get you thinking about the sinker shape, then he can go to the 4-seam up top. We'll use the green for 4-seam. Then he can go 4-seam up top, and you're just kind of overwhelmed. It's an absolute It's an absolute masterclass of how to pitch. He got ahead almost all the at-bats. I wish I had process stats for this game, but it felt like he was ahead in the count to everybody. Obviously, that's going to be really key, especially when you're working with a little bit less velocity. The one home run, nothing really to worry about. It was an 0-2 pitch. Just kind of a fluky thing. Not a great pitch. Honestly, not a great swing, but it worked out for the hitter. I don't think that's anything that Woodruff is going to lose sleep about. But after taking 683 days between games, hard to imagine it going much better than that. This was a really, 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 really nice first outing back off injury. I'm sure this was big. I hope his family was there. I hope his teammates celebrated him after the game. Days like this are special. The season and the career is such a routine. Next day, next day, next day. But you got to take a pause sometimes and smell the flowers a little bit and understand that this guy grinded for 2 years to get back with the boys. And he went out there and he got a win in his first game back. And he looked great. It should be really exciting for the Brewers as they're still in the thick of this race. I did mean to look at the standings real quick, so let's check those really quick. It's been a bit since we checked them. We did not check them this morning, but yeah, Milwaukee is 4 back of the Cubbies, so this is a big acquisition. This is like getting like a number 2 or number 3 starter at the trade deadline, but it's early still, so Woodruff's going to have a lot of time to impact this team and hopefully chase down the Cubbies at his old manager council throughout the summer here. Looking around the league, Toronto still maintains its 3-game lead over the Yankees and the Rays. The Yankees were able to pull out that game versus the Mets yesterday, and that was big. It's only one more series, I believe, or maybe 2 more until the All-Star break. So this is kind of crunch time. And then the boys around the league, all the baseball players are going to need a little break. This is kind of the dog days of summer, the first iteration of it. The second one's more August, early September, but these are the dog days too. Everybody's dying to get to that break. They want to be able to reassess, heal up, and get ready for the really exciting baseball, which comes in the second half. Detroit, 12.5 up. Schoolboy had another scoreless start yesterday. I could have looked at that, but at some point we're going to have to do a Schoolboy episode. He's just been incredible. You want to talk about a fastball changeup combination. He's kind of rewriting the book on that. Houston, they keep trucking along. They're 7 over Seattle. I'm not going to count Seattle out. They have too good of a team this year. I love their pitching. Kirby threw a great game yesterday to beat Skeens. Skeens just can't get any run support. It's wild. But Kirby, Wu, Castillo, Gilbert, it's a very, very strong team. Miller, I think, is hurt, but that's a very, very strong pitching staff. Nobody's going to want to play Seattle down the stretch. They just got to hit. Cubbies still 4 up, as we said. Dodgers 8 up. So we don't really have too many tight races. We got a few in the division. I'd say AL East, NL Central. The rest are kind of big. Wild card's going to get super interesting. We're very far away, but there's going to be a lot of teams in the hunt for the wild card. So it should be very, very good coming down the stretch this year. Today's Monday, so there are less games today, but let's go ahead and take a quick peek. Let's take a quick peek at the probable pitchers for tonight. Shane Baz at the Tigers, who have not announced their starter. So Rays, Tigers. Rockies at Red Sox. Wow, not often the Rock Show gets to go to Fenway, but it's going to be Austin Gomber. I think he's only been back for a couple games so far for the Rockies this year. And then Richard Fitz, who I got to know pretty well in spring training. Really good dude. Pretty good pitcher, too. Jansen Junk, Brady Singer, Marlins, Reds. Andrew Haney, Noah Cameron. Pirates, Royals. Jose Barrios, Sean Burke, Blue Jays, White Sox. One of my favorites, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Freddie Peralta, the real ace of the Brewers at the moment. He's another one. I forgot to mention him. He's been there too. At one point, they had Freddie, Burns, and Woodruff. I don't want to sleep on Freddie Peralta. He's been amazing too. Tanner Bybee, Colton Gordon, who I've never heard of for the Astros. Looks like he has faced the Guardians though, so I need to lock in a little better on that. DeGoat, Jacob deGrom, looks to continue his absolute assault on the American League in his return this year versus Yusei Kikuchi, who is a very rich man since the Angels paid him. So this is a good matchup. I expect deGrom to roll through them. I'll be watching that. Zach Gallen looking to get back on track. I believe he's over a 5 ERA this year. It's been a little weird. Let's go check on that real quick. I don't want to do the matchups. Let's just go to Gallen real quick. Yeah, 5.45. Very weird for a pitcher as good as him. So I expect him to get on a roll soon. Darvish just got healthy, so we'll be keeping an eye on him. Christopher Sanchez, one of the best pitchers in the league. This guy is what a steal by the Phillies to sign him up last year. He's ascending. His stuff's become incredible. His changeup's one of the best pitches in the league. And then Landon Roop, who I really like watching. It's a lot of breaking balls. It's a lot of changeups or splitters or kick changes. Not a lot of heaters, but it's a nice sinker when he does throw it. I like watching his style. Kind of reminds me of me, but as a starter, so I get a little jealous, but I get to watch him pitch. So, yeah, I'm excited about DeGrom, of course. I'm excited about Yamamoto, of course, and Freddie Peralta. Gallen, I'm curious. Darvish, I'm curious. And this game tonight, this will be a good game late night. Christopher Sanchez and Landon Roop. So we got some good games. Obviously, a lot of teams are off, being Monday. But we still got enough baseball. So excited for tomorrow, and we'll see what we get into. Really want to thank you guys for joining me. Been a lot of fun. I'm going to try to keep these a little shorter these days. I just covered Brandon Woodruff. I thought it was very important to cover that, understand a little bit of what he went through, and how emotional it probably was for him coming back. For him to be as sharp as he was, that's a very encouraging sign for him and for the Brew Crew. That execution was a masterclass. If he keeps doing that, he's going to be Brandon Woodruff still, regardless of velocity. We did see him throw a few anger balls in the 94, 95 range. I know it's what he used to average, and let's just give him a little grace. Let's give him a little grace. Maybe he gets back up there, and we have a top 10 pitcher in the big leagues again. And maybe he doesn't, and he's a top 30 pitcher in the big leagues, top 40. But either way, that's a very valuable guy. Let's just pray and hope that he's doing everything he can to stay healthy, because he's really a joy to watch pitch, and I love watching guys who can execute like him. So on my end, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this day over with. And we're going to go enjoy the rest of the day. My kids are at camp. Got to go pick them up in a little bit. Looks like it's starting to rain, so I got to go deal with some stuff in the backyard. I'm going to go get a nice lunch, maybe make a sandwich. Coffee was good today. It was fun hanging out with you guys, and I'm going to switch it off to our outro loading screen, and hopefully we will announce and get this thing started for real very, very soon. So thank you so much for joining me, and I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.